Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyil kareem. My dear fellow citizens of Kano State, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. All praises be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the universe. May his peace and blessings be upon his messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all those who followed his path till the last day of judgment. It is with great pleasure and profound gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I have the single honor to address you today to mark the 1-year anniversary of our tenure, especially myself as the governor of the most populous state in Nigeria, which is our pride, Kano State, the center of commerce. I must say that I am very much humbled by the opportunity bestowed upon me by you, the good people of Kano, to serve in my capacity as the elected governor of your state. You may recall that from 1999 onward, we have consistently been celebrating Democracy Day on May 29th of every year. We celebrate the end of military rule and the return of democratically elected leadership. From 2018, we moved the Democracy Day from May 29 to June 12 of every year. Fellow compatriots, today's celebration marks the silver jubilee of continuous uninterrupted democratic governance in our country and in our dear state. The core essence of democracy is to catalyze the attainment of prosperity and the creation of opportunities for all without any form of discrimination, as well as ensuring the peace, security, and happiness of all of us. On a day like this, we seize the opportunity to pay special tributes to the heroes of our democracy, whose actions and sacrifices brought our country to the present state of decades of uninterrupted democratic experiment. We cherish their contributions, and we shall at all times be guided by their worthy examples in choosing our leaders at every level of governance. Here in Kano State, we cannot forget the legendary efforts of the likes of late Malam Aminu Kano, late Malam Lawan Dambazau, late Alhaji Lili Gabari, late Alhaji Dauda Dangala, late Alhaji Musa Gwadabi, late Alhaji Muhammadu Abubakar Rimi, late Alhaji Sabo Bakin Zuo, late Alhaji Farooq Bibi, late Alhaji Bibi Farooq, late Alhaji Abdullah Topa, and of course, the leader of the Konkosia political movement, His Excellency Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso, and the former governors of the state. All this contributed in no small way in passioning the liberal democratic culture in our dear state. We thank them immensely for their sacrifices. May the soul of those that departed rest in perfect peace in Jannatin al-Firdaus. Let me say that after 25 years of uninterrupted democratic governance, our democracy is mature and optimistically look to the future with hope and conviction that the future shall be more promising and bright. The present economic challenges will be resolved and our people will regain their economic power by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I wish to call at this juncture on all the key stakeholders in our state to play by the rules. The rule of law and the rule of virtue must be our guide in every action or inaction. We must operate within the ambit of the law with patriotism, maturity, honesty, and love of our dear state. We must not allow the selfish interest of any individual or groups of individuals to set our people on a coalition course and the breakdown of law and order, which is capable of creating chaos and insecurity in our dear state. Kano State is the only state we have, and we must therefore join forces together, irrespective of political inclination, to make it the best, not only in Nigeria, but in the whole of West Africa. Difficult as this may sound, we believe that it is doable and achievable with dedication, commitment, and sincerity of purpose. In Kano State, we have significantly achieved successes in many areas of human endeavor in the last 1 year. This was in spite of the deliberate destruction caused by some mischief makers who refused to accept the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the judgment of the good people of Kano State who voted us with overwhelming majority. Let me say here that we spent over 8 months moving from one court to another to protect this mandate. We have already recorded appreciable successes in various sectors of our economy. Typical examples are: number one, human capital development. In the area of human capital development, we have focused our attention on skills acquisition, youth and women empowerment, as well as supporting high-level manpower development. In fulfillment of the promise made during our electioneering campaign, this administration has commenced the empowerment of women and youths on a monthly basis with a capital of 50,000 naira to each beneficiary, so as to invest in small and medium enterprises business. So far, 5,200 women from across the 44 local government areas have and shall continue to benefit from this every month. Similarly, youth empowerment have also been kick-started with traffic traders, hawkers, each benefiting with a capital of 50,000 to support their trading. The exercises and the empowerment initiatives are ongoing on a monthly basis and shall cover all deserving persons in the state. Let me say that still on human capital development, we approve the reopening of the 21 skills acquisition institutes, which shall commence the training of young men and women by equipping them with soft and hard skills in different trading and enterprises. to make them creators of opportunities rather than job seekers. We have invested billions of naira to sponsor 1,001 first-class graduates to foreign universities across the globe. This is so as to pursue higher degrees in different disciplines. These young men and women from 1,001 different families are expected to complete their postgraduate education by the end of this year, inshallah. We also supported Kano State indigenous studying in many tertiary institutions in Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Jigawa, Bauchi, Borno, Sokoto, and Zamfara, and paid their registration fees as a one-off compassionate intervention in all the universities in the states mentioned. Let me say that given the burden of debt of pensioners' gratuity that we inherited, we approved the payment of 11 billion naira in 2 batches. First batch of 6 billion naira, which have already been distributed to over 5,000 pensioners, and recently 5 billion naira for the second batch, which we shall lag off the distribution to the respective beneficiaries within the next couple of days by the grace of Allah. Overall, the offsetting of these pension liabilities is not only a relief to government, but also impacted very positively on the welfare of the tens of thousands of households. The cascading impact of this payment will redistribute wealth to the hands of hundreds of thousands of people and businesses within the state. Also, in order for us to fulfill our campaign promise, this administration sponsored and conducted the mass wedding of 1,800 couples. Each couple was provided with furniture, dowry, brides and grooms' attire, as well as capital to be invested in small and medium enterprises. Here also, over 2.8 billion naira was spent on this. Arising from the abject poverty that was biting in the society as a result of high inflation, high cost of essential commodities, and increasing cost of petroleum products, we took some deliberate steps to reduce the impact of the biting poverty in the state. One of the clear trademark of this administration is compassion in everything we are doing. The need to show compassion and our clear commitment to making most of the people happy most of the time has always been our guiding principle. That is why we have distributed palliatives in the form of rice and others assorted grains to the most vulnerable segment of the society on 5 different occasions. And all the distributions are done free of charge. Kano State government spent over 7 billion naira to procure about 270 trailer loads of rice and over 70 trailer loads of meth, and distributed to all 11,222 polling units across the 484 wards of the 44 local government councils, free of charge. A total of 820,600 households benefited from the palliative distributed by the Kano State government. Let me say that the Kano State government sponsored the UTME registration of about 6,000 students and the NECO and the NBAIS registration of over 121,687 Kano State students, costing over 2.9 billion naira. Fellow citizens, if I may ask, are all this not human capital development? Where else, other than in Kano State, do you find such a pit? Let me say, on education, I'm happy to say that our administration has already declared state of emergency on the education sector. The reason for such declaration are justified because of the very sorry state of the education sector that we have inherited. Our concern about the unacceptable growth and unbelievable decay and deterioration of infrastructure for teaching and learning to a near total collapse of the education sector spurred our administration into taking the radical step of declaring state of emergency on education. Arising from the declaration, let me say that we have comprehensively renovated and upgraded more than 120 schools and approved the renovation of all schools within the 44 local government areas. We have also given approval to recruit more qualified teachers to improve the students-teacher ratio in the sector. This includes absorption of 5,623 BESDA teachers into the mainstream of the civil service, approval for the recruitment of additional 4,000 BESDA teachers, as well as 10,000 super teachers. We have also approved the construction of 28,264 classrooms to accommodate all the 989,234 out-of-school children in our state in the next 3 years by the grace of Allah. Renovation of all the 7,057 primary schools in the state over the next 2 academic sessions has also been approved. We have given directives for the reopening of all schools closed down by the previous administration, as well as the reboarding of all girls' schools that were devoted by the last unpopular administration. To encourage girls' child education in our state, we have reintroduced 17 number shuttle buses to transport girls' child through and from schools. This in addition to the distribution of 900 million naira to 45,000 girls students in junior and secondary schools at the rate of 20,000 naira each, just to encourage them to remain in schools. Let me say that distribution of teaching and learning materials to primary and junior secondary schools across the state, items including chalk, exercise books, textbooks, whiteboards, schools bags, schools uniforms, etc. were equally distributed. In recognition of the pivotal role of practical education in nurturing innovative minds, we have equally approved the building of additional 300 state-of-the-art laboratories in 100 schools across the state. The provision of this will provide our students with hands-on experience in scientific inquiry, fostering a culture of experimentation and discovery that is essential for their future successes. Because of the importance of tertiary education in human capital development, we have taken some bold steps to arrest the root and reverse the decay in our higher education subsector. The objective is to expand access to and improve the quality of higher education in the state. That is why our administration embarks on renovations of some physical infrastructure in all state-owned tertiary educational institutions. Let me say that on health, guided by our belief and conviction that health is wealth, we have taken some drastic actions to revitalize the health sector provision in our state. Specifically, we have reclaimed, refurbished, and upgraded the Hasia Biopediatric Hospital and put it into use, providing free pediatric care to all children of the vulnerable people within the state. The Leprosarium Hospital at Yadakunya was equally comprehensively renovated and upgraded. Other major hospitals in the state that have benefited from this administration's intervention include Nuhu Gamali Maternity Hospital at Kopan Nasarawa, Accident and Emergency Section of Murtala Muhammad Specialist Hospital, Abdullahi Wasi Teaching Hospital, Nasarawa, and Muhammadu Sanusi General Hospital in Kano. We have also directed the State Ministry of Health to come up with general renovation plan of all the secondary health care facilities across the state. The Ministry of Health has also successfully completed 3 rounds of diphtheria vaccination and 3 rounds of polio vaccination, covering about 2.5 million residents. To improve the efficiency in healthcare services delivery, we have recruited more medical personnel, including 250 medical doctors, 36 house officers, 174 nurses, midwives, as well as community health extension workers. We have equally enlisted over 40,000 vulnerables who will benefit from free healthcare services through the Kano State Contributory Health Insurance Scheme. Let me say that when we assumed the office last year in May, the drugs availability in our hospitals was less than 30%. And I'm very much happy and delighted to say that with our immediate intervention, we beefed up the drug supply to over 70% in all our secondary and tertiary healthcare facilities across the state. Fellow Kano State citizens, on strategic infrastructure, let me say that in our quest to make Kano City globally competitive and to alleviate the persistent issue of traffic congestion that has plagued some of our roads in the metropolis, we have commenced the construction of 2 number flyover interchange roads and 2 underpasses at Chal'udu and Avenue junctions. These flyovers, in addition to beautifying our city, will also go a long way in easing vehicular movement within the Kano metropolis. The construction of other arterial roads that connect multiple local governments has also been afloat. At this point, let me inform you that approval has been granted for the upgrade and dualization of some roads within the state. This includes Lodge Road to Rescourse Road, Daula Roundabout, which is about 2.6 kilometers, Madobi Bridge to Yapo to Kapim Meyaki, and Yapo to Kiru, which is about 70.6 kilometers. Also Madobi, Kubarachi, Kura, including bridge across Chalawa River, which is also about 14.6 kilometers. We also awarded contract for the construction of Overweka Ongoradabai, which is about 5.6 kilometers. Enawaki, Otoro, Limawa, which is 2 kilometers. Let me say also that the construction of 5-kilometer roads, dualized roads across the 44 local government areas has been resumed, and some have already been completed, which by the grace of Allah, we will start commissioning very soon. Let me equally say that in our efforts to create opportunity for our people to acquire land to build houses, we created 3 layouts at Dawachiki, Lambu, and site and services at Regional Gongo of the Akinkudu local governments. Moreover, our administration has acquired and fully paid for a housing estate comprising of 54 houses within Kura local government. Let me say that the Tigadam Independent Hydropower Project was completed and have already commenced evacuation of the generated power for transmission and distribution. This, I'm sure, will improve power supply in the state and by extension support industrial production and wealth creation, by the construction of Chala Gorge Dam hydropower project that was abandoned by the last administration has also resumed in earnest. The construction of more rural feeder roads are also ongoing. Also, only last week, I laid the foundation for the construction of over 70-kilometer roads across the Kikudu and its environs. Let me say that we restored the street lights in all the major streets of Kano metropolis to ensure prudent management of resources and save the enormous cost of diesel. We have commenced the conversion of all the street lights with solar-powered lights. On water supply, fellow citizens of the state, you may recall that when we came into office last year, more than 90% of Kano State were facing acute shortage of pipeline water for 8 years. I am happy to also say that we have resource-gated all the 4 major water treatment plants in the state and are all working at optimal capacity. We have restored water supply to the majority parts of the state. In addition to reticulated water, we have also taken deliberate steps to also improve access to clean water in rural areas by drilling boreholes across the state through the Ministry of Rural and Community Development. On environment, we also tried as much as possible to improve the quality and cleanliness of our environment. We have launched the Operation Abba and the 1 million trees planting projects across through the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. This administration had also re-established REMOSAP with a view to addressing the decay of the solid waste management system we inherited. We are exploring best refuse management systems and practices that will address the need of our ever-growing city. On this note, we have procured sizable number of refuse disposal equipment and repaired the existing ones. This government will do everything possible to make Kano State one of the cleanest and most beautiful city in the country. Let me say that on agriculture and food security, there is no doubt that agriculture is the mainstream of our economy. Since our assumption of office, we promise to give this important sector priority attention through modernization such that agribusiness will become one of the major drivers towards poverty eradication and job creation. In this regard, we have been able to record modest achievements that include improved access to agricultural land by smallholder farmers. Our administration has recovered over 1,000 acres of farmlands at Bunkure and Kadawa, which were budgeted and illegally grabbed by the officials of the last administration. This land is now in the custody and under the control of the Ministry of Agriculture. We are also developing grazing reserve at Dansoshia in Kiro local government in partnership with the Islamic Development Bank under the Kano State Agro-Pastoral Development Project, KSADP. The aim is to settle pastoralists at the reserve to transform the traditional shifting of cattle rearing method. To ensure the success of this endeavor, we are equally planting 3,000 hectares of grasses, building schools, veterinary clinic, markets, livestock loading ramps, dam, and other facilities. Let me say that still on agriculture, hundreds of hectares of irrigation land are being prepared at Ansoshia, Watari, and Kapinchire dams for the purpose of irrigation and the production of wheat, rice, and other farm produce. We have produced over 20-kilometer irrigation canals network at Jamman Baka and Bunkuri irrigation scheme. We have constructed a milk storage facility and empowered over 300 members of Offer One by Milk Market. We have reconstructed and upgraded 5 cattle markets and vaccinated about 1 million cattle and small ruminants against contagious bovine flora, pneumonial, and pestis ruminants, PPR. Work is also in progress for the reconstruction of 2 million cubic liter capacity Kapan Earth Dam in Bunkura local government area. Let me see that we have also exposed our technical staff in the Ministry of Agriculture to a number of capacity building training to equip them with the skills and know-how to drive our policy on sustainable agriculture mechanization program. Fellow citizens of Kano State, in fulfillment of our campaign promises also to farmers, we have ordered for 197 trailer loads of fertilizer to support farmers in all the 44 local governments so as to improve their field this rainy season by the grace of Allah. The Kadawa Artificial Insemination Center has also been upgraded with state-of-the-art equipment, and more pure breed bulls have been procured. Following the upgrade, the center is now expected to provide artificial insemination services to 25,000 cows annually. On security of lives and properties, being mindful of the provision of the section 14(2)(b) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, which declares that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of any government. We have placed high premium in ensuring maintenance of peace and security in Kano State. We have defeated the illicit culture of phone snatching, intra-area banditry, endeavor, street robbery, and other petty crimes of burglary for close to 10 months into our administration. Fellow citizens of Kano State, at this juncture, Let me reiterate that our administration will continue to maintain zero tolerance on illicit drug sales and consumption, as well as street talking. Let me say again that anybody found guilty of any of these offenses will face the full wrath of the law. Let me say that government is fully aware about the recent activities by enemies of the state, who stops at nothing to foment crisis using thugs to attack innocent citizens, especially in the metropolis. We are by this medium warning them to stay clear of our peaceful state, or else the long arm of the law will soon catch up with them and prosecute them in the courts of law, no matter their status or position in the society. For now, let me say that we are compiling their names. We know them very well. We are compiling their names, and very soon the security officers will arrest them and make them to face the rest of them. Let me say that on investment and commerce, the Kano state economy used to be the 10th biggest economy in Africa, according to the World Bank 1981 report. We are determined, therefore, to rejuvenate the economy to be more productive through energy provision, liberal and receptive policies to create enabling environment for prosperity. We have already identified sites to create new industrial layouts, believing that we can only improve prosperity through production and not through consumption. We must improve our net export from Ghana. We are equally pursuing vigorously the development of all other sectors of our economy. Distinguished compatriots, I will conclude this state broadcast by expressing my heartfelt gratitude to the good people of Kano State for your unwavering support, for your cooperation, for your understanding and prayers. I urge all of us to put our problems also in our prayers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all the supplications and sacrifices of our pilgrims and return them back to us safely. Amen. Finally, I want to assure you of my unflinching commitment to ensuring peace and security for all. Thank you for listening. Happy Democracy Day. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala.